The first things that you need to keep in mind is that China is not buying gold. China is getting rid of the dollar. Now let's get back in time to February 2022. Russia invaded Ukraine. The US and the European Union imposed several rounds of sanctions on Russia, including freezing the Russian central bank's foreign reserves. The freezing of the central bank foreign reserves is a significant measure that aims to limit Russia's access to funds held in foreign currencies and thereby impacting its ability to support its economy and manage its currency exchange rate. The consequences of freezing Russia's foreign reserves would be felt not only by Russian government but also by citizens and business as well. And under the US pressure, most Russian banks were also ejected from the SWIFT payment system, which facilitated the international money transfer. And by ejecting Russian banks from the SWIFT payment system, the US and its allies aim to further isolate Russian from the international financial system and impose economic penalties for its actions. And this move restricts the ability of Russian banks to conduct international transactions efficiently and also can have significant economic consequences for Russia. Now, I want you to focus over here. This move by the United States has made a lot of central banks around the world think carefully about what they hold in their reserves. Right now, I want you to stand up and act as the Chinese central bank. What you gonna do in this case? And keep in mind that China is under a trade war with the United States for the past 30 years. And as a result of this competition, China has built a huge foreign exchange reserves, mostly in dollars, because the dollar is considered as the world's reserves currency, and most of the commodities around the world are priced in dollars, and more than half of the world's trade is conducting using the dollar. At the same time, China wants to flex its muscle to retake Taiwan. What are you gonna do as the Chinese central bank? And you just saw what happened to Russia. Now, the Chinese central bank will ensure the stability of the Chinese financial system. The bank gonna work to mitigate any disruptions to domestic market and maintain the confidence in the Chinese currency as well. One of the ways to stable the financial system of the country is to diversify the holdings of the central bank and buy gold. The Chinese central bank has been adding to its gold reserves for the past 18 months in a row. And in 2020, the Chinese central bank bought more gold than all the central banks in the world. China's purchase of the gold last year at 225 metric ton, roughly a quarter of 1,037 tons bought by all the central banks around the world, making it the most aggressive central bank buyer for gold in 2023. And in January and February alone, the Chinese central bank increased its gold reserves by 22 tons. Now, the Chinese central bank holds roughly 2,300 tons of gold in value. And keep in mind that diversifying the holdings of the central bank to include gold can be a strategy to enhance the stability of the financial system of that country, because gold is often seen as a safe haven asset. It has got an intrinsic value, meaning it tends to retain its value or even appreciate during times of economic turbulence or market volatility. At the end, gold reserves are a fundamental component of the central bank's management strategy, providing crucial hedge against a range of economic risks and propelling the stability and resilience of the country financial system. And this is why many central banks around the world maintain significant holdings of gold as a part of their overall reserves portfolio.